Oh, Hi, this is Merlin. Today we're going to talk about the how browsers work. It's called Deep Dive. So before we begin, we have to understand what is the CPU and GPU. So what is CPU? So we already know the CPU means. So CPU is like of course it's kind of brain of your computer. But here's the thing. So in the CPU, there's like CPU core. So it is like in picture here, it's like office worker. If there's task, the CPU core handles it. So can handle many different tasks. More of the CPU core exists, more can handle the different tasks. So what is core? So it is the central part of computer center processing unit. So there's a lot of word, right? So it's like how the process unit of your CPU. And if it is single CPU, that means like this there's only one worker here, so that means like it only handles one task at one time. But if there's a lot, it could handle it could handle like several tasks simultaneously. So how about GPU thing? So the big difference is GPU and CPU. And GPU is good at simple tasks, but both cores multiple cores at same time. But CPU it isn't. So CPU is designed for the wide range of general purpose for computing tasks. So example, we have this PowerPoint and we have to draw this screen by pixels, and this like simple task, and it's have a lot of same tasks, right? So that's where GPU comes in. So when you start an application, your computer be like using CPU and using GPU thing. Next, we're gonna talk about executing program on process and thread. We have to understand process and thread, and I'm going to explain first what is program. So program is like a set of instructions. Because example, if you click from there should be like instruction one, instruction two, instruction three. So in this instruction, the execution unit of the execution is a process. A thread is the helper unit of this process. So if you start the application, the process created, it could create thread, but it's optional. So operating system gives process a slab of memory toward the other application and keep a private memory space. So what is slab of the memory? So slab is like contiguous block or segment of your memory allocated to of the process. Um, Example, if you're trying to do this process thing, and you have to demand some kind of memory to do something, right? And that's kind of slab of the memory thing. I'm gonna give you the big gift of it. So this is a process, and this is like slab of the memory. So process is like can ask operating system to spin up another process to run different tasks. And when process need to talk, they can do it by IPC. So what is IPC? IPC is like inter-process communication. Why we need it? Why we need inter-process communication? Because the we know that process is independent. If process B can affect on the process A not using IPC, that will cause stability issue or security issue. And that is why we put IPC through to try to interact with the process A, process B. An example, if you wanna do the process B after process A, there should be IPC because they will know how what will come next after process A. So I'm gonna give you the example of it. Process IPC and this process work. So now we're gonna talk about the browser architecture. So how is the browsers? So if you look at the browser, there's a lot of process, and in the process, there's a lot of threads on it. We're gonna go deeply about it. So processing browser at the top is browser process coordinate with the other process that take care of different parts of it, and they coordinate by IPC. They can communicate by IPC, and that is the reason why we talk about IPC before. For the render process, multiprocess are created and also into each tab. So example, this is the rendering process. This is also render process takes in. It's just fast we didn't know it. And we also know that process is in here in Google process each tab is has on each process, and we can see memory usage. See, right? So that means like um, in each we have the process in each tab, and the operating system allocates the slab of the memory on each tab. So how do you know? You can see it by hovering it. So so browser process and render process and program process, and there's like GPU process, right? So what it controls is process control Chrome part and address bar, and like address bar here, and bookmark and back buttons. And render process is a tab where your website is displayed, controls everything inside the tab. And plugin is this plugin. It controls the plugin. And GPU handles GPU tasks in isolation from other process. So what is the benefit of multiprocessor in browser? So earlier I mentioned that Chrome use multiple process, render process. So these are multiple render process. Example, if it is not multi-process, if it is like single process. So that the advantage of multi-process is each tab is independent. And if this page is crashed with no reason, this tab will not get affected. Why? We talk about because this is independent process. Also, is called multi-process, and that's kind of the advantage of it. So single process, if it is a single process, there's like shared resources and lack of unresponsive tab and lack of isolation. And lack of isolation could be means like there's kind of security issue of it. That could be. Yeah. So on the end benefit, security and sandboxing. So what is sandboxing? Sandboxing is like context of computer security. They use the isolate running programs. So it's like isolation of the process on the program, because if process can affect bad giving bad effect to the other process, that could be like security issue, right? And sandbox is one who handles the like independent thing. So multi-process architecture, because processes have their own memory space, they often contain copies of common infrastructure like V8, which is from JavaScript engine, and render process has Java has on their process, right? And this render process, there's a like JavaScript engines going on. So in each tab, JavaScript engine takes in, JavaScript engine takes in, JavaScript engine takes in, JavaScript engine takes in. So in the moment, you have to understand why execution or you cannot execute JavaScript in other tab. Example, you open the tab here, and if you just example if it is your website, why your website cannot give bad effect or a lot of good effect to the your other tab, because I talk about we use in here we use multi-process, and because of sandboxing, each tab cannot give effect on the other tab. And yes. So other one is servicification. So what is servicification? So you saw there's a lot of process, right? But uh, in the constraint devices, the Chrome has to handle a lot of process, and that could cause a lot of issue. So it consolidates the services to try to save the memory footprint. So this is example. There were a lot of process, but it just combines it, right? To save the memory, to save the memory footprint. So what is memory footprint again? Memory footprint refers to the amount of memory, main memory, that the program or application uses while it's running. So that means like we're just saving memory, right? While running on the RAM. So next is per frame render process site isolation. I'm sorry about the mistake. The site isolation recently introduced the feature in the Chrome that runs a separate render process. I talk about this. The tab have their own separate render process. I talked about this before, right? So it enabled, and this like kind of iframe. If you're like front-end developer, you can see why what is iframe. You can put the iframe to show the YouTube, but why? What is it? So on why it has render process, and because it gets under the website, and it has the render process have to work on here and here because render process is independent. So I talk about this is just the HTML element that allows the external web page on the existing web page. And this is done. This is like part one of the web browser deep dive. Thanks.